In this episode, I'll be talking about Joseph Campbell's Power of the Myth. When you're studying screenwriting, you've probably heard the name Joseph Campbell before. I mean, he is a major theorist in mythology, he was an interdisciplinarian, he was really interested in a lot of theories and understanding stories and what they could mean and how they're connected to other stories across cultures. And in episode 4, Sacrifice in Your Bliss, he really dissects how sacrifice offers you a new lease on life, a new perspective in a lot of ways. Diabetes fits into this in a lot of ways because diabetes takes you to the brink of death, offers you treatment, allows you to live, but then it offers a new perspective on life in a lot of ways. And in this episode, he uses a lot of indigenous stories to talk about sacrifice, and this really connects to Killers of the Flower Moon in a lot of ways. Especially ideas of land connected to memory and how sacrifice makes you a warrior in a lot of cultures. Well, let's get into it. In a lot of indigenous cultures and stories, there is a focus on land and its devastation, either through natural effects or from other effects such as colonial integration. Now, how does this connect to diabetes? Well, diabetes is kind of an all-consuming force on the body and thus could be reinterpreted to be a metaphor for land in a lot of ways. But I mentioned earlier, there is some kind of benefit that comes from sacrifice, and this is the reimagination or the creation of a sacred site, as defined by Campbell. And this sacred site is a place that you can retreat to in order to find creativity, imagination, solitude in a lot of ways from societal expectation that allows you to reimagine or understand things on a deeper level. And this is the sacred site that a lot of sacrificed individuals might find within stories, where on the brink of death they come to revelations that we cannot understand outside of being healthy because they're able to appreciate and understand life to a further extent. Sacrifice is very common within indigenous mythos. I mean, their entire society is built off of cycles in a lot of ways, living off the land, respecting animals and plants, and this idea of death bringing about new life, this cyclical nature. I mean, Killers of the Flower Moon focuses on that to a wide degree, with this idea of oil farmers coming in and taking parts of the land is so foreign to them because they live off that land, they respect that land. It's not focused on as a source of economic growth in a lot of ways. There's also this connection to mother and child sacrifice as a way of giving birth to something gives you bliss, but there's a sacrifice that goes into it. And this really connects to Still Magnolias in a lot of ways, considering Shelby has to sacrifice a part of herself to have her son. But isn't that her responsibility as a mother? According to this idea of sacrifice, yes, she is supposed to give up her life in order to bring about that new generation. Thus, if we look at it from a different perspective, we can see how sacrifice could make that to be a positive nature instead of something that is a failing or something that is to be looked down upon. Human sacrifice is really the predominant focus in Campbell's understanding of this concept. He mentions this story about a man who sees another person hanging off the side of a cliff. Now the man pursues saving this person without any regard to his own safety. Why would he do this? Well, sacrifice requires a degree of empathy in a lot of ways. And he had this idea, the hero did, that if he sacrificed a part of himself, that he would have this new lease or understanding in life. Thus, if we kind of interpret diabetes to be like the hero in a lot of ways, allowing us to understand how life has all this other value that we might not understand if we were to live without any conflict, any disease, anything whatsoever, then we would never understand or be able to approach our bliss in a lot of ways. And this is what Campbell says is the predominant, most beautiful thing you can experience in life. And this is the understanding of joy, the pursuit of creativity, the pursuit of purpose in a lot of ways outside of the fear of death and loss and anything else that the world could provide. And this is the penultimate moment for any human being to understand that sacrifice leads to your bliss. Thus, diabetes could be interpreted as something that allows you to understand life on a deeper meaning and deeper understanding than the average person. In this next section, we'll be talking about Killers of the Flower Moon, and finally concluding our scenic and narrative analysis until I decide to do a different project on this channel. Well, I hope you'll tune in.